If you grew up in the 1950s, making Christmas cookies wasn't just baking, it was a tradition. It was a family ritual that marked the true beginning of the Christmas season, a special event that happened every single December. The kitchen, the heart of the home, transformed into a bustling workshop. Flour seemed to dust every surface. The warm, sweet smell of butter, vanilla, and cinnamon would fill the entire house, seeping into every room and announcing that the magic had begun. There was your mother at the counter, the commander of this festive operation. And you were right there beside her, her little apprentice, ready to help, ready to learn, ready to create. You felt so important, so grown up. This wasn't just about making treats, it was about making memories. You watched every move she made, soaking it all in, knowing, even then, that this was something special. This was what Christmas felt like. The recipes didn't come from the internet, of course, they were treasures, written on worn, butter-stained recipe cards, penned in your grandmother's elegant, looping handwriting. Or, you'd pull out the big, reliable Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, its pages filled with endless possibilities. The annual cookie list was a serious matter, debated and decided days in advance. Sugar cookies were a must, perfect canvases for decorating. Gingerbread men, of course, waiting to be brought to life. Spicy snickerdoodles rolled in cinnamon sugar, and delicate thumbprint cookies, each with a jewel-like dollop of jam in the center. Once the plan was set, the ingredients were gathered. Sticks of butter were left on the counter to soften to just the right consistency. Flour was carefully sifted into a big bowl, light and airy. Sugar was measured out, cup by cup. Everything was laid out, a culinary battle plan, ready for action. The anticipation was almost as delicious as the cookies themselves. Then, the real work started. Your mother would begin by creaming the softened butter and sugar together. Maybe she used a new electric hand mixer, it's whirring a modern sound in the cozy kitchen. Or perhaps she used a sturdy wooden spoon and a lot of elbow grease, beating the mixture in a big ceramic bowl until it was light and fluffy. You'd watch, fascinated, as eggs were cracked one-handed against the side of the bowl, and a splash of vanilla extract was added, releasing that incredible, intoxicating scent. Next came the flour, added gradually, a cup at a time. The whir of the mixer would change, slowing down as the dough came together, growing thick and sweet and unbelievably tempting. Oh, how you wanted to just eat it raw, right from the bowl. And sometimes, you did. A sneaky finger dipped in for a taste when Mom turned her back for a second. It was a small, delicious secret. Once mixed, the dough was wrapped tightly in wax paper and placed in the refrigerator to chill. It had to wait, an hour, maybe two. This was always the hardest part, the waiting. But you understood it was necessary. The cold dough would be firm, perfect for rolling out without getting too sticky. Finally, the moment arrived. The counter was generously dusted with flour, a little white cloud that settled over the workspace. Your mother would take out the chilled dough and place it in the center, then begin working the rolling pin, back and forth, back and forth. The dough would spread, getting thinner and more even with each pass, until it was a perfect, smooth sheet. Then came your job. The tin of metal cookie cutters was opened, a collection of familiar, cherished shapes. Stars, Christmas trees, angels with delicate wings, bells, a jolly Santa Claus, and his reindeer. You pressed the cutters down firmly into the dough. Each shape was then carefully lifted with a spatula and placed onto a greased cookie sheet. You helped, your small hands working alongside your mother's. Sometimes the dough would stick, or a delicate angel wing would tear. But she was always there to patch it up, to show you how to do it just right. She was teaching you, not just how to bake, but how to be patient, how to fix things. The scraps of dough were never wasted. They were gathered up, re-rolled, and cut again. Every last bit became a cookie. With the cookie sheets full, it was time for the oven. Into the heat they went. The timer was set 10 minutes, maybe 12. You'd press your face close to the warm glass of the oven door, watching as the pale dough began to puff up and turn a beautiful golden brown around the edges. The smell was almost overwhelming now. Butter, sugar, vanilla, and spices all baking together, creating the quintessential scent of Christmas. The whole house was perfumed with it. When the timer finally rang its cheerful bell, Mom would pull out the tray with her oven-mitted hands. They were perfect. The cookies were slid from the hot pan onto wire racks to cool. The urge to grab one right away was almost unbearable. But you always heard her voice, "Wait, they're too hot. Let them cool." It was the ultimate test of childhood patience. But the wait was worth it, because what came next was the best part of all. The most fun, the most creative part, decorating. Once the cookies were completely cool, the real artistry began. Real icing was made from powdered sugar and egg whites, beaten until it formed stiff, glossy peaks. Your mother would divide the pristine white icing into several small bowls. Then came the magic of food coloring. A drop of red here, a drop of green there, yellow, blue. You'd stir and stir until the colors were vibrant and perfect. The decorating tools were simple: small spatulas, the rounded edge of a butter knife, or, if you were really fancy, maybe a pastry bag or a squeeze bottle. You'd get your own bowl of icing and a pile of plain cookies. You'd spread the icing carefully, creating your own designs. You'd sprinkle on colored sugars and tiny, silver dragees. The gingerbread men got smiling faces, candy buttons, and Johnny bow ties. The stars were outlined in bright red or green. The Christmas trees were adorned with tiny icing garlands and sprinkle ornaments. Each and every cookie became a tiny, edible work of art. Each one was unique, special. It was yours. At the end of the day, the kitchen counters would be covered with plates and plates of finished cookies. Dozens of them, sometimes hundreds. They were arranged and displayed like the treasures they were. Some were set aside for your family to enjoy. Some were arranged on special plates to be given to neighbors and friends. A special few were always reserved for Santa's visit on Christmas Eve, placed carefully by the fireplace with a glass of milk. The tins were brought out from the pantry, and you'd help stack the cookies inside, separated by sheets of wax paper. Cookie jars on the counter were filled to the brim, ready for after-school snacks or for when Dad came home from work. Eventually, the kitchen would be cleaned, the flour wiped up, the bowls and spoons washed and put away. But the smell, that wonderful smell, lingered for days. It was the smell of Christmas, the smell of tradition, the smell of home. Making Christmas cookies in the 1950s was a lot of work. It was time-consuming, and it was certainly messy, but it was also pure joy. It was connection. It was a creative outlet. It was about passing down recipes and traditions from one generation to the next. It was about creating memories that would warm your heart for a lifetime. With simple ingredients and simple tools, real magic happened in those kitchens. Families gathered, generations connected, and you created cookies that, in the end, tasted just like love.